Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Hamilton, and today I want to share with you a game that I have recently created. And what game I have created, you might say? Well, it is called King of the Litter. Anyways, weird introductions aside, in this game, it's a simple card game consisting of 20 cards. There are 4 different suits, or in this case, there's going to be 4 different animals, since this whole game is based around cats and dogs, both our canine and feline friends here. As you can see, one suit is golden retrievers, another's corgis, we have the calico cats, and then last but not least, we have the orange cats right here. Now, I do want to say a quick disclaimer. While I did design this whole game and even created the design of these card layouts right here, I did not create any of these images for the animals. That I will be putting those, the links to those who made it and their respectful names into the description. I just want to say that right now. These are just simply used for the design purposes of quickly composing the game altogether. But in this game, there are, as I said, 4 suits, and each suit has 5 individual cards. So as you can see, each one we have a number assigned to it. So we have 1 all the way through 5 of each one. And essentially what it is, it's a competitive memory game. Now, what you do is you shuffle all the cards that I've already done in that stack, and we lay them out in 4 rows. So I will be doing that here, which bear with me because handling cards is not easy with a single hand. So I will be laying them out in 4 rows of 5 columns. There we go, if I get that right. And I will just be putting these all together. Now, they don't have to be nice and neat, since this is a demonstration. I say while I'm trying to put them nicely into rows. And this is a 2-player game. Also, you might notice that you can kind of see through the cards. This is not the final product. As I say, this is just a mock-up of what the game, how the game is supposed to play. I do plan on coming back and actually creating some cards that I would be proud of. But as of right now, this is just demonstration purposes. So, okay. So now that we have our 4 different rows of 5 columns, essentially it's a 2-player game where one player will have 2 turns. Now, they will, since this is the first go around, the first player, they will determine who plays by whoever's birthday is sooner within the year. So I basically have advantage since my birthday is January 1st. So I go first, and I will choose 1 card to flip over. I will then use my second turn to flip over another card. Now, the order of how to do this is you have to try to find 2 cards of the same pair or the same breed of animal, and you have to try to match up 2 cards that go either one after or one before the numerical order. That's a mouthful to explain. However, in this case, since this is a perfect example of picking the right cards, if I flip over a 1, I would then need to flip over another orange cat that is a 2, and then I can then I then add those 2 cards to my hand off to the side. Now, given another example, if I was to flip over this one, and then flip over another orange cat, or calico cat, this one will be a 3, and that one's a 1. Now, since these do not align, or they don't connect in terms of the numerical order, so like how 1, you would then have 2, then 3. Since there's a gap, these don't count. However, now now both players have seen which card is underneath. So they know that these are calico cats, one's a 1 and the other is a 3. So, I would have no choice but to flip them back over and give my turn over to the next person. Similarly, because I've gotten these two, I must then, it's the opposing player's turn. And what they can do is they do the same thing. They take one turn to flip another one over. And, let's see, they can spend their, or they flip one over, then they flip over the second one. In this case, I see that there's another calico cat. Or not calico, orange cat. My bad, I am so sorry. So sorry, sir. But I see that there's another one. Since they spent both of their actions flipping over the cards, they have to, and neither of them match, they have to flip them back over. So, my turn comes back around. And I remember that one right there is one that I need in my order. So I flip that one over, and I can then choose to grab that one and put it in my hand. But since I've added this card to the collection, since we see it it's connected to 2. So you got 2, then you 3, 4, 5, so etc., etc. Because that they are right next to each other in the numerical order, I can add it to my hand. But adding it to my hand gets rid of my second turn, or my second action entirely. On the other hand, if I do not remember that one is an orange cat because my brain becomes all fuzzy all of a sudden, if I flip over this one first, that one's a corgi, so that's my first action gone. I then flip over this next one and see that is the cat that I need. That's the one I need all along, right there, all over his smug face. Because I've already expended my first action, I cannot use that one to grab this cat. So, unfortunately for me, in that circumstance, I would have to just flip him back over and leave it to my opponent's turn. Your turn, good sir. There's no one there. Anyways, on their turn, since my brain, it wasn't so keen in the moment, and theirs is, however, they can remember that one is the orange cat. So they'll flip it over on their first action. They can then choose to simply take that one and take the one next to it in the numerical order, yoink, and put it in their hand. So that card is now theirs. So they can actually steal from my hand and add to their own. And this can be a back and forth thing. But similarly to how I played my cards, like adding it to my hand, they cannot use their second action because they use that action to take. And similarly, if that was the second card that they flipped over, vice versa, they would not be able to steal any cards from my hand or do anything. So they would have to flip it back over and leave the turn for me to take. So essentially, the game continues to go until the entire board is cleared. So let's say they have a bunch of cards. I do. Once the board is completely cleared of cards that are flipped over, we then count the amount of cards that we've accumulated in total, and then whoever has the most cards, as we typically see in games, wins that round. Now, there's another thing that I do want to mention that is probably keen for both sides to do. So, let's say that I managed to get both of these cards right here, and I did manage to, on my first turn, flip over a orange cat right here. So we got the orange cat of 4. Now, I could chance it. This is an actual legal action you could do. I could chance it or play it safe. Not chance it yet. I don't want to chance it. I'm not a gambling man yet. I could play it safe by adding that card to my collection right here. Or, if I either want to actually be the gambling man that I secretly am in these cases. Disclaimer: don't gamble. That is not good. And I either don't know or I do know where the 5 of orange cat is. Yeah, I secretly do. There it is. If I do know where that is, I've pulled it before, or it's been unearthed from the mystery void. beforehand, I could actually take that one, unflip the fifth card, and take both, even though I already do have the 3 in hand. Because technically, I unearthed 2 cards beforehand. Or I didn't have to take an action to add it to my collection. So, this one might be a little bit hard to understand. But, if you, going as like starting out, so you start out by unearthing the 2, or flipping over the 2 cards and then adding it to your collection beforehand, the same rule applies. You don't have to spend a turn or spend an action to apply 2 cards that you've flipped over to your hand. You do have to spend an action to apply a card that you, like one card that you flipped over that corresponds to the ones that you have in your hand. You do have to spend an action to just add that single card to your hand. But because I flipped this one over and then flip that one over on my turn, I can just simply do both. And then, now having the entire suit or entire breed of orange cats as my army, they're safe entirely. Nothing can claim these from my hand since all of them have been added to, my hand right here. So the enemy, or enemy, well, in this case, they are my enemy, my sworn enemy. They can't really do anything to take these cards out of my hand. So that's a guaranteed 5 points right there. So the trick is to try to get the entire breed into your hand. Now, that being said, that is the game of King of the Litter. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Give me uno momento. King of the Litter. Thank you for watching this presentation, and I will see you next time.